So I love my Bronco, and the more time I spend with it, the more I really get the feeling that the engineers and the design team really spent a lot of time thinking everything through and making sure that it was going to work functionally for who it was intended for. And for the most part, I think they've nailed it. This has been a perfect vehicle for me so far. There are some exceptions, most notably is this hump. I think it's a very specific critique, however it seems to be a pretty common critique. So for me, I'm going to be sleeping back here until I get the roof rack on and I can put my rooftop tent on. I also just want this to be level when I fold the seats down. So one of my camping totes is a little longer. I'm always going to fold the seat down when I bring that along with me. It would be really nice to have this flat so it's not teetering on this hump. So today we are going to address that and try and piece together a platform that is going to work for this. I'm going to walk you guys through everything that I do, but I'll be sure to include measurements and stuff like that in the description so you can make your cuts and do what you need to do. Another thing I want to make sure we do during this whole process is I want to have access to the little cubby that has the jack and all that stuff in there, and then there's also some extra storage in there that I have stuff. So I want to be able to access that even with the platform in. All right, let's get going.
First thing we need to do is take measurements of the area. This platform is 29.25 inches long and 42 inches wide. To get the angle of the hump, I took one of the 2x4s, a washer, and a pen, and used the washer to make a mark on the 2x4. I then measured the angle as it was drawn, and it turned out to be 125 degrees. I then marked the 2x4 at 29.25 inches and drew the angle from there, with the 29.25 inch side being the shortest or bottom of the wood. From here I can set my miter saw at the correct angle so all my cuts are consistent. After confirming that fit in the Bronco, I took my ruler and used that to mark the 2x4s where it was level with the back seat. It was about a ½ inch too tall, so I will have to rip all of the 2x4s by a ½ inch. With the first part of the frame complete and test fitted, I could get the other 3 required for the frame knocked out. Once all the cuts were made, I wanted to ensure they fit before adding a cross brace. This cross brace is 27 inches long. I only did one cross brace in the center, and I didn't attach the 2 outer 2x4s because those will be attached by the plywood that I'm going to stick over the top of this.
Okay, so at this point I have the frame done. Everything is looking pretty good so far, other than the fact that 2x4s are a little bit warped, but I'm hoping once I get some plywood down, that'll help kind of get everything leveled out. So So yeah, I'm gonna start cutting that out and get that fitted, and then we can drill it onto the top of this. And so I'm gonna leave a cutout here for me to be able to put a separate panel there and slide that into place. So you'll see a little bit, there's probably like like a inch that I'm gonna leave exposed here, and then build a frame for the other plywood that's gonna go right there. Actually, I might not even need to build, maybe just a center support bracket or something like that. And then that way I can remove that and get into that space that I was talking about. I also didn't rip the wood all the way down. I wanted it to come over this hump just a little bit so it sits a little flatter. So I ripped the wood just a ½ inch down because I have ½ inch sheet plywood. So hopefully that'll make for a nice transition right here. If it's not like perfect, it's not the end of the world, because I'm gonna get an inflatable little mattress that I can put over the top of everything and even that out. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm gonna cut out the footprint for the platform, and then we should be able to finish all that up.
The platform that is going on top of this frame is 31.5 inches long and 20.5 inches wide. You're going to need 2 identical pieces like this, or you can combine the 2 and stick that on the frame. Because my plywood had to be cut down so much for me to get it home, I didn't have a piece long enough to just do 1 sheet of plywood over the frame, so I had to cut it in half. This will allow a slight overhang over the hump for a better transition. This also accounts for the thickness of the carpet that I will be putting on it, so it's not quite as wide as the 42-inch width that we measured earlier.
So I carpeted this off camera. You don't really have to carpet it, but I wanted to have a finished look. Carpeted it off camera because I don't know what I'm doing, so I didn't necessarily want to show you this, but essentially what I did was stapled the top and then pulled everything tight, stapled the other end, and then went around the edges. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it, but it turned out well, so I'm happy with it.
To have access to the additional storage and car jack, I need a separate piece that will slide into the cutout. This piece measures 15.25 inches long and 27.5 inches wide.
So I'm 5'11". You can tell I don't quite fit in here. So I'm gonna have to sleep on my side, knees bent, diagonally. Something I'm not quite sure how that's gonna work, but this will work for sure for, you know, until I get my rooftop tent on there. The main purpose, like I said, is just to have a level platform between the storage area and when the seats are folded, for camping totes or whatever other storage thing. If I want to have my dogs back here and just give them free roam, if it's just, you know, them and myself, then I can do that. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. This works perfectly. But yeah, I like the way this turned out. Really good transition here to the back seats when they're folded. I like the carpet on it. That turned out really nice. And there's additional storage as well on these, kind of on the side of each frame. They're stored. I put some soft shackles in there. I'm sure I'll find something else to put in there. And then you can still store underneath the cubby access, and then remove that and get to the storage that's even underneath there. So I'm pretty pleased with it. Anyways, I hope this helped you. There's a few other videos that do this, but I didn't find anyone that gave you measurements and kind of stuff to follow along. So I really hope you're able to duplicate this platform if you're interested. And if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. I'll get to you as soon as I can. But yeah, pretty happy with this. This weekend I'm gonna use this system for the first time, and I'll be sleeping back here for a 2-nighter. So looking forward to that, and that'll be the next video most likely. So until then, I hope you're able to get off the grid and off the grind. And I'll see you in the next one.